Well, welcome back. How you been?
I've been good, Mike G. I was just saying before I was so rudely interrupted, not only did you contribute to both my campaigns, you contribute substantially. It wasn't just some nickel and dime thing you did. You whipped out a big fat check, and I really do appreciate it. I will never forget it.
My love and support and affection for the great Eldersky is substantial because I know what a class act and how great you would have been as governor of California, and you got real close, but we're lucky to have you still on our team here at Salem. I want to get to your movie. I want to get to the first 100 days, but I just got to first remind everybody how much fun. Have you been to Alaska before? Is this your first time?
I have. I've been there a couple of times. The first time I was there was in the early 1970s. I was a lawyer practicing and working on the Alaskan pipeline, and I was sent there by my law firm.
Nice. Well, we're going to have a tremendous time. We've got hundreds of people already signed up. We're going to have a blast. And this ship, I got to go last time with Seb Gorka. Dr. G is now otherwise engaged, so he's not able to join us. But you and I are going to be the co-hosts, joined by the great Joe Piscopo and Jennifer Horn, Joey Hudson out of South Carolina. We're going to have a ball. Nothing like it. August 16th through the 24th. We'll see you on board the Eurodam, if not sooner. Larry, Speaker Mike Johnson, and incidentally, travelwithsalem.com if you want details on the cruise. Speaker Johnson just praised President Trump by saying he is the most consequential American leader of the 21st century, and that's an understatement. I don't know that truer words have ever been spoken. Do you?
I think that's true. He's the most incredible politician I have ever seen. When I briefly ran for president, as you know, Ron DeSantis ran as well. And he was criticized, DeSantis was, for not having the kind of people skills that Donald Trump had. And I came up to him and I said, I hope you're not bothered by this, because Donald Trump is box office. Donald Trump is Elvis. Donald Trump is Mount Rushmore. He is the most incredible, likable, relatable, honest, strong, fierce, confident politician I have ever seen. So please don't compare yourself to him and come away thinking that you're inferior. You're not. At some point, Donald Trump's going to leave the stage, and maybe then it'll be your turn. But right now, it's the man's turn.
You know, I meant it when I said to that caller, we were kind of, filling time when we were getting the technical stuff fixed. And I took the caller who said, "Oh, he's mean, he's cruel, he doesn't like it." And if I wish his critics could spend a few minutes with him. Every single time I've ever spent time with him, I walk away saying, this is a guy that if people saw him in real life, maybe they wouldn't have such blind hatred for him.
You know, I heard that call, and you're absolutely right. He talked about how cruel Donald Trump is because women have been deported and they brought their children with them. Well, the women have made the decision to come here illegally. They made the decision to have a child, and they made the decision not to bring the child with them or to bring the child with them. That's up to them. But as you pointed out, how cruel is it to allow 15 million illegal aliens, some of whom were murderers, some of whom were in mental institutions, who've committed crimes here in America, not vetted, not vaccinated? How cruel is that to inflict that on the American people? That's what Joe Biden did. And Tom Homan, the border czar, recently said, I've worked under 6 presidents. Biden is the only one who intentionally unsecured the border. Why aren't more people concerned about that?
Larry, tell us about your documentary, Electric Vehicles, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's available now at salemnow.com. I saw it and I was riveted by it because, look, my position has always been, if people want to buy an EV, just don't mandate it. You can't shove that down our throats. But what were your surprising takeaways? What did you learn as you dove into this subject? And why did you want to tackle this particular subject matter?
Well, Impactful Pictures came to me and asked me what I thought were some issues that should be tackled that weren't tackled. And I mentioned that because I'm here in California. Governor Gavin Newsom has mandated by the year 2035, no more sale of new gas-powered cars. Joe Biden made similar statements. And however you feel on the issue of climate change, whether you feel, as Joe Biden does, that climate change represents an existential threat, or whether you feel it's much ado about nothing, or whether you're sort of in the middle, that there is climate change, that man activities have something to do with it, but we ought not force feed so-called renewables down people's throats. However you feel about that is pretty irrelevant. My question is an EV, all things considered, better for the planet than a gas-powered car? Before I started this, Michael, I'd never driven an EV. I just sort of assumed that EVs were better for the planet than gas-powered cars. And then I got into it and drove an EV for the first time. The technology is absolutely amazing. The self-driving stuff is amazing. I went to one of the biggest auto shows in the world and saw all the cutting edge technology involved in an EV, and it was quite riveting. But then you look at the other things. It takes fossil fuel generated energy to manufacture the EV, to transport the EV, to get it to the dealership. It takes primarily fossil fuel manufactured energy to make the electricity to charge the EV. So you look at the overall carbon footprint, it's probably not any smaller than a gas-powered car. Arguably, it might even be bigger. And then you get to the ugly part, which is the growing dependence on China for the computer chips that go into the car, and more importantly, for the minerals, some called rare earth minerals, lithium, cobalt, and nickel, that go into the battery. And China either manufactures this stuff or produces this stuff or mines this stuff in China or in places controlled by China, like the Republic of the Congo, where children, boys and girls, are using their bare hands to dig out this cobalt, which is toxic. I think if people knew that slave labor was being used, these kids are being paid $1 or $2 a day to do this, they would rethink what they think about EVs. This is from just a humanitarian standpoint. And then you have the national security standpoint. We're enriching China, making us more dependent upon China. Do you really want to do that? So if you look at all these things, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I think you're going to come away with saying things like, well, maybe I should think this through just a little bit more. I don't tell people what to think. I don't shove it down their throats. It's up to you to decide, but make sure you know exactly what goes in to manufacturing, transporting. The battery has to be disposed of. The battery has a shorter shelf life than a battery used in a gas-powered car. And because of the toxic minerals that are in it, if you bury the battery, it can leak and threaten the underground water storage. So there are all sorts of things that I would urge people to take into consideration before they think about buying an EV.
It's like everything you do. It's a real balanced, reasonable approach to what has been a one-sided conversation. And look, again, the movie's available now at salemnow.com. You go to salemnow.com to watch it. And, I just had a brainstorm. We ought to screen electric vehicles, the good, the bad, and the ugly, starring Larry Elder, on the cruise ship. They got a movie theater on the ship. What do you think?
That's a wonderful idea. And by the way, the reviews have been extraordinary. I got a review by the Daily Signal. I got a review by a guy named Paul Bond. He used to be with with Newsweek, and before that with the Hollywood Reporter, some other reviews. And if you go on IMDb, it has a higher ranking right now than Casablanca. Now it's early, there's a smaller sample size of reviews, but right now it has a higher IMDb rating than Casablanca, one of America's most beloved movies. So pretty proud of that.
Move over, Humphrey Bogart. Larry Elder's here. Larry's in town. I can't wait to see you in August for the big cruise. I know. Look, and I'm getting a ton of text messages. You're so beloved and so popular. In fact, I just talked to Carolyn Cassidy, our general manager here in Tampa and Columbus. They had a big event the other night. I guess Friday in Columbus. Big sold out event in person where hundreds of people came out to see you. So we're going to have hundreds of people on the cruise ship, my friend, in August. I can't wait to see you then.
Sounds great. It was a fantastic event I just now had in Columbus. I'm looking forward to seeing you do on the cruise. Are you going to break out a song for us? Are you going to?
We got to break out "Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat." I mean, come on, and it's a cruise, so I got to sing "Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat" from Guys and Dolls, right? That's a tradition.
That's right. And Joe Piscopo and I are going to probably do a duet. I'm probably going to break out my Louis Armstrong. And I think to myself.
I love it. We're going to have a great time. We'll see you then. Keep fighting the good fight, my friend. Great having you on the show.
Thank you, sir. God bless.